Handling your own orthographic camera is often necessary, but there's quite a lot of fuss involved with getting the aspect ratio right and in positioning your world on the screen. If you don't need to move your camera around in your game world, it's often easier to use a viewport to manage your camera. We've set up a little demo project to show off the various viewports. What we're doing is we're drawing a little checkerboard that's 16 units wide by 9 units tall, which is intentionally not the same size as the window we're going to use to display this world. So here in Create, we've made an orthographic camera, and the first viewport we're going to explore is the screen viewport. The screen viewport doesn't care about the size of the world. It just sets the camera up for pixel drawing. This is great if you need that in particular, but it's not super useful for most games. Let's check out what it does. So our checkerboard is down here in the bottom left, and it's 9 pixels tall and 16 pixels wide, and you can hardly see it at all. Let's try another viewport that might be better for this task. Here we've switched over to a stretch viewport. Stretch viewport makes the world exactly fit the screen, but it doesn't respect the aspect ratio of the world, so things might look stretched either horizontally or vertically. Since our world is 16 units wide by 9 units tall, and the aspect ratio of this is squarer than that, that means our world gets stretched vertically or squashed horizontally, depends how you want to think about it. Now we switched over to a fill viewport. Fill viewport does respect the aspect ratio of the world, but it might clip some parts of the world in order to make that true. For instance, this world is now only 12 by 9 instead of 16 by 9. The extra is off screen to the left and right. A fit viewport makes sure that the entire world is visible and at the correct aspect ratio. However, it does this by adding black bars at the top and bottom or left and right to pad out the rest of the window. This is also called letterboxing. It's what happens when you watch widescreen movies on old TVs. This is a great choice when the exact size of the game world is essential, but it can look bad on devices that have very different aspect ratios from what you intend. The last viewport type is the extend viewport. The extend viewport also ensures that the entire game world is visible and at the correct aspect ratio. It just makes the game world bigger in the smaller dimension in order to fill up the rest of the space. So if you remember from the screen viewport, we had this green apron all around. You can see it in this version because we're actually allowed to draw up here. Back when we were using the fit viewport, those black bars, we weren't allowed to draw anything out there at all. When it comes to making games that work across a whole range of devices with different aspect ratios, extend viewport is almost always the best choice, when you can get away with it. Remember, the screen viewport makes the size of the world match the size of the screen, pixel for pixel. Stretch viewport makes the world fill the screen regardless of aspect ratio. Fill viewport also makes the world fill the screen, maintaining the aspect ratio, but cutting off bits of the world. Fit viewport fits the world inside the screen, adding black bars to pad out the extra space to maintain the aspect ratio. And finally, extend viewport makes the short axis of the world larger to fill the screen, maintaining the aspect ratio.